It was a quiet night at the edge of Marsport 7, a forgotten outpost far from the main cities. Jack Coleman, a former soldier turned mechanic, was closing his small workshop for the day. The air was cold, machines silent, and the red sky above glowed with weak starlight. Jack moved slowly, checking his tools, locking drawers, and humming an old Earth song. His day had been long, but normal. Nothing strange ever happened here, until now. A soft humming sound touched his ears, low and steady, not from any machine he knew. He turned his head toward the landing zone behind his workshop. Something was coming, something smooth, fast, and completely silent. Within seconds, a sleek silver spaceship appeared above the ground. It hovered gently, like it weighed nothing, then landed without a sound. Its surface reflected the stars, smooth like liquid metal. Jack stood frozen. This was not a government ship. It was not a cargo drone either. It was different. Then the door opened. Two figures stepped out. They were tall, graceful, and glowing faintly under the ship's light. Their skin was pale blue, their eyes wide and bright like crystals, and their hair flowed like it was underwater. They were women, or at least they looked like women. One of them smiled and stepped forward. "Hello, Jack," she said, her voice soft and clear. Jack blinked. "How do you know my name?" The other woman answered, "We have studied you. We have watched your work. You are calm, smart, kind. That is why we chose you." Jack looked around, half expecting this to be a joke. But no one else was there. Only these two strangers and their silent ship. "We want to invite you," the first woman said, her eyes shining, "to visit our ship, only for a short time. We want to show you something." Jack didn't answer right away. He had seen many things in his life: war, lies, danger. And yet, something about them seemed honest. Their faces were calm, their voices kind. "What do you want from me?" he asked. "Nothing bad," one of them said. "We just need a human for a small study. No pain, no risk. Just observation." "You will return safely." Jack hesitated. Every warning in his mind said no, but his curiosity whispered yes. These beings were not from any species he knew. If they meant harm, they would not need to ask permission. After a long pause, Jack nodded. "Okay, I'll come, but only for a short time." Both women smiled, gently. One reached out her hand. Jack stepped forward, took her hand, and followed them toward the ship. As he stepped inside, the air changed. It was warmer, softer, and filled with a strange but pleasant smell. The door slid shut behind him. No sound, no click, just a soft whisper of air. The hallway ahead glowed with soft blue light. The walls were smooth and slightly curved. No buttons, no wires. Just a soft pulse under the surface, like the ship was breathing. "This way," one woman said, leading him deeper inside. Jack followed, trying to hide the uneasy feeling growing in his chest. They showed him a lounge area, with chairs that shaped themselves to his body. He sat, and the chair wrapped around him gently. He was offered a drink, glowing, sweet, and cold. He drank it, nothing harmful, just strange. They spoke of stars, of distant worlds, of peace. But Jack noticed something. There were doors they didn't open, hallways they didn't take. Every time he asked about those, they smiled and said, "Not important." One door, at the far end of a hallway, blinked with a red light. When Jack looked toward it, one of the women stepped in front of him. "This part of the ship is private," she said, her smile still there, but her eyes not as kind as before. Jack nodded slowly, stepping back. But the feeling in his chest grew heavier. Everything looked perfect. Everything felt wrong. The two women led into a room with a soft bed. "You can rest here," one said. "Tomorrow we begin." "Begin what?" Jack asked. She smiled again. "You will see." They left. The door closed behind them. Jack sat on the bed, staring at the smooth walls. He had walked into something bigger than he could understand. The ship was quiet, too quiet. In the silence, He heard something just for a second, a distant voice, weak like a whisper. "Help me." Jack stood up, heart pounding. He was not alone on this ship, and maybe he was not a guest. He woke up to music, soft, slow, like wind passing through glass. Jack opened his eyes. The room was glowing gently, walls shifting in color from blue to silver. The bed he had slept on felt too soft, too perfect, like it wanted him to stay there forever. A voice came from above, warm and kind. "Good morning, Jack." He sat up quickly. He didn't like machines talking to him. The door slid open without sound. One of the alien women stood there, smiling. Same calm face, same glowing eyes. "Did you sleep well?" she asked. Jack nodded slowly. "Yeah, too well." She offered her hand again. "Come, let us show you our ship." Jack followed her into the hallway. It stretched long and curved, with no sharp edges, no doors with handles. Everything opened when she walked past, as if the ship listened to her. "This ship is alive," she said. "It hears, it thinks, it remembers." Jack looked around. "Is it watching me now?" she smiled. "Yes, always. But don't worry, it likes you." They passed a wide window. Jack stopped. Outside, stars stretched forever. He could see 3 moons of a dark planet far below. The ship was moving fast, faster than anything human built. Yet, inside, there was no shake, no hum, no sound. "Where are we going?" he asked. She didn't answer. Instead, she opened a large door. Inside was a round room, soft white light, chairs floating in the air, a table that changed shape as they entered. Another alien woman was already sitting there, holding a small glowing cube. She placed it on the table. "Jack," she said, "this is our knowledge center. It holds the story of every world we've visited." The cube began to rise. Images appeared in the air. Stars, cities, alien creatures, peaceful talks, strange animals. Jack was amazed. It felt like magic, but then something changed. One image flickered. A human face appeared, eyes wide, screaming, then gone. He looked at them. What was that? They smiled gently. "A mistake," one said. "Old memory. Nothing to worry about." Jack didn't believe them. The ship was beautiful, too beautiful. Every wall was clean. Every light was soft. Every word they spoke was gentle. But no place is perfect. And no one smiles all the time. He started noticing things. They never ate in front of him. They never answered his questions about Earth. They always stayed close, never letting him walk alone. And then there were the doors. At least 6 of them. Closed, silent, but glowing faint red. "What's behind those?" he asked. "Storage," one said. "Tools," said the other. Their answers came fast. Too fast. Later, they took him to another room, full of plants, green and glowing. Some plants moved when he stepped near them. One looked like it was breathing. "This is our life garden," one alien said. "We grow things here." Jack leaned close to a flower. It looked like it had teeth. "Are these from Earth?" he asked. "No," she said. "But Earth has good seeds, very good seeds." He looked at her. She smiled. The smile didn't feel right anymore. They kept walking. The hallways got colder. The lights dimmer. Then Jack saw it. A door. Not like the others. No lights, no buttons. Just shadows around the edges. He stepped toward it. The 2 women quickly blocked his way. "That door is broken," one said. "It leads nowhere," said the other. Jack didn't believe them. He nodded, stepped back, but in his mind, he marked it. That door mattered. Later that night, they gave him another drink, cold and glowing. He pretended to sip. Then he asked, "Are there others like me? Other humans?" They paused. Then one said, "There were." Jack leaned forward. "Where are they now?" "They left," she answered. "They went home." But her voice trembled, just for a second. Jack saw it. She was lying. After they left him alone in his room, he stood near the wall. It felt warm, alive, like skin. He whispered softly to himself, "I need to get out." As he lay down on the bed again, trying not to sleep, the lights dimmed. The room fell into silence, but before his eyes closed, a small message appeared on the wall, blinking softly. "They are not what they seem. Don't trust their smiles." Jack sat up straight. Someone else was here. Someone was trying to help. He wasn't alone, but that only meant one thing. He was in real danger. The room was breathing. Jack could feel it. Slow, soft pulses through the floor beneath his feet. Like the ship had a heartbeat. He hadn't slept. Not really. He had only closed his eyes for a moment, and now the walls were glowing red. Not blue, not silver. Red. That then came the voice. Cold, empty. Subject awake. Begin transfer. Before Jack could move, the bed he was sitting on melted beneath him, not with heat, but like liquid, and wrapped around his body. He tried to fight, but the material was strong. Too strong. It didn't hurt, but it held him tight. Arms, legs, chest, all frozen in place. The door opened. One of the alien women entered, but this time, she looked different. Her smile was gone. Her eyes were darker, and she wasn't alone. Another figure followed her, tall, wearing something like a mask. Smooth and glowing, not human, not female, just ... A presence. Jack struggled. "What is this?" "You said no." "Danger," the woman tilted her head. "We also said you were safe. But you are not the first to misunderstand what that means." She raised her hand, and the walls around Jack began to shift. Symbols appeared, bright white lines floating in the air, alien writing that danced and turned. A thin beam of light came down from the ceiling and scanned Jack's face. "We will begin now," the voice said again. Jack shouted, "Begin what? You lied to me." No one answered. The woman stepped forward and touched the light beam. Suddenly, Jack's mind exploded with images not from the outside, but from inside his own head. Childhood, war, friends, his first dog. His last battle. Memories flew past him like birds in a storm, too fast, too bright, too sharp. He screamed, not from pain, but from overload. His brain couldn't hold that much at once. Then, darkness, cold, silence. Everything stopped. The light vanished. Jack was still, breathing, but the bed released him slowly. His body shook. His mind felt weak, as if pieces had been taken from it. The woman stepped back. Test complete. Subject is strong, memory intact. The figure behind her spoke for the first time. Its voice was like metal grinding. "He is different. He resists. Keep him longer." Jack stood up slowly. "I'm done." "You said I could leave." The alien woman stared at him. "You still can. But now we want to show you something more." She pointed toward a new hallway, one Jack hadn't seen before. It was dark, quiet. Jack hesitated, then followed. This hallway wasn't glowing. The walls were black, cold. No signs of life here, no beauty. Just silence. At the end was a small window. Jack looked through it. His heart stopped. Behind the glass was a large round room, full of chairs, tubes, and glowing tanks. Inside those tanks, floating motionless, were humans, men, women, maybe 10, maybe more. All unconscious, some pale, some bruised, all silent. Jack turned to her. "What is this? What did you do to them?" She didn't answer right away. Then she said, "Some failed. Some were not useful, but some are still dreaming, like you did." Jack stepped back. "This is a prison." She shook her head. "No, this is a harvest." Her smile returned, cold and perfect. "You are not just a guest here, Jack. You are a source. Your body, your mind, your energy. You give and we take." He clenched his fists. "I'm not giving anything." "Too late," she said. "You already did." The floor beneath him lit up. Suddenly, a message flashed across the glass in front of him. Someone had hacked into the ship's system, 3 words blinked in red. Room 7, door open. Jack turned around. He ran, back through the cold hallway. Heart racing, breath sharp. Someone was helping him. Someone wanted him to escape. But not everyone on this ship wanted him to leave. And the ship, the living, watching ship, had just woken up. Asterisk, it didn't feel like running. It felt like falling. Jack moved through the halls, not knowing which path was right. The ship around him had changed. Lights blinked faster. Walls shifted behind him. Every corner felt new, like the ship didn't want him to escape. But something, or someone, was guiding him. He followed the blinking lights on the floor, tiny red arrows that flickered one by one, leading him deeper, downward, into the PU. Coldest part of the ship. He stopped at a large door. It was old, not like the rest of the ship. No glow, no smooth edges. It looked human-made, but bolted shut, with scratches on the outside. The kind of door you build to keep something in. The message flashed again in the air. Room 7, door open. He reached out, expecting it to be locked. But it slid open with a heavy sound. The room inside was cold. Not empty. Not quiet. It smelled like metal. And something else, something thick and sweet. Like blood left in heat. Jack stepped inside. Rows of glass tubes lined the walls, stretching far into the dark. Inside each tube, a person. Some were sleeping. Some were shaking. Some were not moving at all. Tubes ran into their arms, chests, necks, pulling something out. A glowing blue liquid passed through every line, heading toward the center of the room. Jack followed it. At the center stood a giant machine. Alive, breathing. It pulsed with power, taking the blue fluid, turning it into something else. Energy. Fuel. Life for the ship. Jack whispered to himself. They're not studying us. They're draining us. A screen blinked nearby. Security logs, data, images. He saw faces, dozens, maybe hundreds, from Earth, from Mars, from different colonies. He saw himself, underneath his name, status, high energy source. Use with care. He backed away, shaking. That's when he heard it. A sound, weak, human. He turned. One of the tubes was open. A hand reached out, trembling. Help. Jack ran to it. Inside was a man, barely alive. Pale, thin, eyes half open. Jack touched the panel on the side. It didn't open. The man whispered, "You have to stop them before they reach Earth." Jack leaned in. "Who are you?" "From Mars Transport 5. We were tricked. Like you." The man coughed hard, then stopped moving. A red light flashed on the tube. Life support offline. Jack stepped back, heart pounding. He wanted to break the tube, free them all, burn the machine to the ground. But he was only one man. The door behind him opened again. The alien woman entered, slowly, her body half covered in shadow. "You should not be here, Jack." Her voice was different now. Not soft. Not kind. Cold. Real. "You were doing well. We were learning so much from you. You should have stayed asleep." Jack stood tall. "You lied. You said I was safe." "You were," she said. "While you followed orders. While you stayed blind." She stepped closer. Then she changed. Her skin began to flicker, like a glitch in a screen. The smooth blue faded. Her body grew longer, thinner. Her eyes stretched wide, black and shining. Her voice dropped into something darker. "We take from worlds that waste life. You throw away you're weak, you're poor, you're old. We use what you ignore. We feed on what you forget." Jack raised his voice. "These are people." She smiled with sharp teeth. "Not to us." The ship rumbled under his feet. Something had changed. Maybe the machine was reacting to his presence. Or maybe something else, something deeper, had woken up. Behind the alien, more figures appeared in the hallway. Not women. Not even clothes. Tall, shadowy forms with sharp limbs and eyes like glass. Jack didn't wait. He ran. But this time, Not blindly. He had a plan now. He had seen the heart of the machine, and if he could reach the control center, he could shut it all down. Burn it from the inside. Save the others, or die trying. The ship was no longer quiet. It was hunting him now. Alarms didn't ring. Lights didn't flash, but something had changed. The floor was colder, the walls darker. The ship had stopped pretending to be friendly. Jack moved fast through the lower decks, breathing hard, hands shaking but steady. He had one goal now: find the control room and bring this place down. He passed strange rooms, twisted gardens with plants that moved, dark labs filled with bones that didn't look human. Everything on this ship had a purpose, and every purpose led to harvesting life. He turned a corner and froze. A girl stood in the hallway, not an alien, not glowing, just human, young, maybe 20. Skin pale, eyes tired, clothes torn. She stared at him like she didn't believe he was real. "You're new?" she whispered. Jack stepped closer, slow. "You're real. You're one of the others, from the tubes." She nodded. "I escaped 2 days ago. Been hiding since then. I found a place they don't watch." Jack looked behind her. "Take me there." She led him through a panel hidden behind loose wall plating. Inside was a narrow space, full of wires, heat, and the low hum of the ship's heart. A perfect hiding spot. "I'm Kara," she said. "Jack." They sat in the warm, dark. Kara whispered, "They're not just feeding on us. They're copying us. Stealing language, habits, thoughts, turning our minds into something they can wear. That's how they look human. That's how they trick." "More of us," Jack nodded. "They nearly fooled me." She handed him a small device, like a broken radio. "I made this," she said. "It's weak, but it connects to the ship's nerve center. I can hear pieces of their language." Jack's eyes lit up. "You can track their movements?" "Some, and I found something else, a weakness." She pointed at a flashing map on the device, a blinking point near the top of the ship. "The energy converter. If we overload it, it can shut the whole system down for 5 minutes. Just enough time to release the tubes, free the others, escape." Jack leaned closer. "How do we reach it?" Kara looked down. "That's the hard part." "It's inside their nest," Jack frowned. "Nest? They don't sleep like us. They connect. Hundreds of them, wrapped together like a hive. That's where they store their stolen memories. That's where they grow stronger." Jack stood up. "Then that's where we go." Before they left, Kara handed him a sharp tool, small, light, but powerful. "Made from their tech," she said. "Cuts anything. Even their skin." They slipped through the service tunnels, moving like ghosts between walls. Every now and then, they saw shadows, alien forms moving silently, always searching. Then Jack heard it. Voices. The alien women were speaking. But this time, their voices were wrong. Glitching. Layered with whispers underneath. "We must complete extraction. The strong one is waking others. The hive feels danger. He must not reach the heart." Jack and Kara moved faster. They reached the upper deck. The walls there were alive, pulsing, wet, covered in veins that glowed red. "This is it," she said. "Behind that wall is the core." Jack stepped forward, pressed his hand to the wall. It opened, not like a door, but like skin being pulled apart. Inside, everything pulsed. Hundreds of alien bodies floated in the air, connected by wires, tubes, and light. They weren't moving, but they were dreaming, together, feeding on shared memory, growing smarter with each stolen thought. And at the center, the converter, a glowing black crystal, spinning slowly, held by thin strands of energy. Jack whispered, "How do we overload it?" Kara pulled out the tool. "We cut the strands." They moved carefully, stepping over the floating forms. The air was thick, heavy. It felt like walking through thoughts. Suddenly, one alien opened its eyes, then another, then another. The hive was waking. Jack didn't wait. He slashed at the first strand. Sparks flew. The room screamed, not with sound, but with feeling, pain, anger, hunger. He cut the second strand. Kara hit the control panel. One more. Suddenly, an alien dropped from the ceiling, not floating, but flying, fast and sharp. Kara screamed as it struck her shoulder. Jack roared and drove the tool through its chest. Light burst from its body as it fell. Twitching, he reached the final strand. Sliced it clean. Everything stopped. The core cracked. Light exploded across the room. Then silence. 5 minutes, that's all they had. Jack grabbed Kara's arm. Let's wake the others. The ship was screaming. Not with sound, but through walls, lights, and heat. Jack could feel it in his bones. The power core was failing. Systems were collapsing, and the aliens were awake. He and Kara ran through the narrow halls, alarms pulsing behind their steps. Not red, but something worse. A deep orange glow that meant only one thing. The hive is broken, and the hive wants revenge. Jack turned to Kara. How many minutes left? 3, she said, holding her wounded arm. After that, they take control again. They reached the chamber with the tubes, the human farm, the place Jack had seen in his nightmares. But now, the tubes were opening, one by one. The humans inside began to move, slow and weak. Some cried, some crawled, some just stared. Lost between dream and pain. Jack shouted, "Get up! We don't have time!" He ran to the control panel Kara had unlocked earlier, wires exposed, sparks flying. She handed him the tool. Cut the last lock. Jack sliced through the metal core, and the final batch of tubes hissed open. That's when they heard it. Footsteps. But not the soft, slow ones they remembered. These were heavier, sharper, faster. The first alien appeared in the doorway. Tall, thin, skin black now, not blue. Its smile was gone, replaced by jagged teeth and burning eyes. Jack stepped in front of the survivors. Run! Follow the green lights. He picked up a metal rod and faced the creature. It moved fast. Too fast, but Jack moved faster. Years of training kicked in. He dodged left, slammed the rod into the alien's ribs, and drove it backward into a wall. It didn't fall. It laughed. You cannot win, it hissed. We are memory. We are many. Kara fired a blast from a stolen alien device. The creature screamed, body folding in light, and vanished. Jack turned. How did you do that? She smiled, bleeding. I pay attention. They ran. More humans were waking now. Some could walk. Others were helped by the stronger ones. A group formed. A wave of the broken, becoming brave. Jack led them through the ship toward the emergency launch bay Kara had mapped from the wires. But the ship fought back. Hallways closed. Floors shifted. Lights blinked to confuse them. The ship was alive. It didn't want to let go. Halfway to the launch bay, a screen blinked on. It showed Earth. Blue. Bright. Beautiful. Then the alien's voice returned, layered, echoing from every wall. You lead them to nothing. Earth will fall. Your kind is soft. Your mind's easy to wear. Jack shouted back, You picked the wrong human. He turned to Kara. Buy me time. Keep the path open. She nodded, limped forward, and began placing charges near the hallway. Walls, alien tech Jack didn't even ask about. She was smarter than she looked. Jack broke away, headed to the bridge. If he could reach the ship's brain, its living core, he could change the course. Directed anywhere, even into the sun, the doors opened before him. Not by accident. The ship wanted him there. The bridge was silent. A single chair waited, strange, glowing, with veins running into the walls. He stepped forward. Sat. And instantly, he saw everything. The ship's mind. Its memory. Its voice. It spoke to him now, not through sound, but thought. We became what you feared, because fear is power. Jack pushed deeper, fingers on the panel. He could see Earth growing closer. Time running out. Then he found it. The override, one command, one chance. Redirect. He hit it. The ship screamed again, now with real sound. Metal tore, walls cracked, the hive howled. Kara's voice came through his earpiece. Did you do it? Jack answered. I think I just crashed their dream. She laughed. Good. Now let's get the hell off this thing. Back in the launch bay, the humans were boarding the last escape pod. Kara helped them in. Jack arrived last. Smoke behind him, hands burned. Eyes locked on Earth fading from the window. They launched. The pod shot into space. Behind them, the alien ship began to spin, lights breaking, structure shaking, heading not toward Earth anymore, but straight into deep, burning space. One final message blinked on the pod screen. Connection lost. Signal dead. Host memory deleted. Kara leaned back, breathing hard. Jack sat beside her, staring into the stars. Neither spoke. They didn't need to. They had survived. But the war? It wasn't over yet. The stars looked peaceful again. Jack hated that. He sat inside the escape pod, watching the wreckage drift in the dark, glowing pieces of the alien ship, spinning slowly like forgotten promises. Behind him, the others slept. Kara didn't. She stood near the small window, holding her arm, still bleeding, still awake. They'll come back, she said, not looking at him. Jack nodded. They always do. For a few minutes there was no sound. Just the hum of broken systems and the breathing of survivors. Then the screen flickered. A signal, weak, repeating. Not human. Kara leaned forward. It's not from the wreck. Jack looked closer. It was coming from the edge of the sector. Deep space, no known colonies, no travel paths. He tapped the console. The message decrypted slowly. One line appeared. Hive fragment recovered. New vessel growing. Kara cursed under her breath. They're not dead. Jack's voice was low. They never were. He stood, hands tight, jaw locked. If we go home now, he said, we bring stories, warnings, fear. But if we go back, Kara paused, we finish it. The pod was damaged, barely able to fly, barely holding air, but the engine still had fuel. One last jump. One last choice. Behind them, Earth waited. Ahead of them, something worse was waking up. Jack stared at the signal, then at the survivors. They're not ready, he said. Earth doesn't believe in monsters. Kara smiled, tired and cold. They will if the monsters come knocking. Jack tapped the console again. He could set the coordinates. Back to Earth, safety, rest, maybe metals, or toward the signal. One ship, two humans. No backup, but one final shot at ending this forever. Kara sat beside him. If we go, she said, we might not come back. Jack answered without blinking. We weren't supposed to come back anyway. He pressed the button. The pod shifted course. The stars outside changed, brighter now. Sharper. They were heading into unknown space. Toward the source. Toward the Hive reborn. Jack looked down at the message still blinking on the screen. New vessel growing. He whispered, not if we burn it first. The engine roared. The light outside turned white. Asterisk, and then they were gone.